Oh yeah, it is. I am. Doo-doo-doo. Me, what's that camera looking at me? Oh, that's yeah, it froze.
Oh,
The middle one now.
woohoo! Go, Bruno, go.
Ooh, I hear myself live.
Go.
What? I don't know if he's
Everything's live. Go.
perfect. Uh, happy 1:35 p.m. on a Wednesday. We do want to apologize for the technical difficulties. But we still have the guests here.
Yeah.
It's still
he hasn't left
Wednesday.
yet.
It's
Yeah.
still sunny and hot outside.
Very hot. Yeah.
And we can get this thing started.
Yeah.
So if you know someone who signed off, reel them back in
At least in
and
10 minutes.
join us in the next hour of our show.
Yeah. I think our plan is just to go through starting now, full hour show from
Pretend we're on the West Coast.
almost. Yeah.
Almost.
Maybe more like New Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere in between.
Right. That is.
But yeah, we'll do that. So sorry again, folks. Promise it's not our first time. But with that said, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, a little frazzled, but great. How about you? How are you doing?
Pretty good. You know, it's all good and here in the moment. You know,
Yeah,
you
that's
can
right.
swing with the flow.
Oh, sure.
So other than that, pretty good. Busy in the VDC side, and R&D's also been working on some big things.
Yes.
You should be proud of me.
Why is
This
that?
week, I submitted an idea
I
for
saw
the
that.
challenge happening.
I know you did a nice segue, but I wanted to go in a different order, so I'll roll with what you just did. Yeah, we have the AI Powered Construction Challenge still going on. You got until June 30th, so a little over,
A
a little over a week? Yeah, I think that's the Friday. So yeah, a week and a half. Half to get your ideas in. Yes, you did submit an idea, so thank you for that. I think we had a few others submit an idea. I think only one I can remember right now is Lily.
You don't remember mine. Nice.
Well, recently I know we had like Jim Schwartz and Justin Stewart and myself and yourself.
Just been a second idea too?
Me? No, I'm just saying ideas. People that have submitted things.
That's out of character for you. Contributing.
I submitted to the last challenge. But yeah, so please submit. James and I went to Dallas on Thursday. Our primary reason was because we were meeting with Todd, but we went around and James primarily spoke to different people in the Dallas office.
You also talk.
I was there. I was around. I said a few words here and there. But yeah, we got to talk to the accounting department, who is a huge fan of the show, by the way. So shout out
Shout accounting.
accounting part.
I was told we are in your big screen down
Yeah,
there.
they got like a screen that they put up, and they watch us every week. So it's very exciting. Very, very happy to have that
You
support.
met our fans.
I did.
Did you have any signatures down?
No, but I
didn't
gave
ask
them
for
some
yours?
motivosity shout outs.
What about his shout outs?
Yeah. We also met with a lot of the IT folks. It was a big downstairs in the Dallas office day for us because Precon was on the phone like all day. We saw some people services folks too. So just reminding people about the challenge because we do need more ideas. We want more and more ideas for the AI powered construction challenge that you mentioned. But otherwise, we're just working on that ideal client stuff I mentioned, trying to figure out why we're so successful with certain clients. That's why we were meeting with Todd. We also spoke to Justin for a little bit, which was exciting.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Big dog Justin.
Big dog Justin. And then we're doing these weekly video diaries that we're sending out to.
Anymore.
Okay, we're sending them out to the innovation group so they can kind of be in the know with what we're doing.
So you're only sending it to the innovation group, not to everyone.
Yes. Yeah. Just for now, we're testing the waters. We figure they're going to have more interest in what we're doing rather than anyone else in the company because we're all part of the innovation group. But we can always send that out if people really want to know what we're up to. But that's me. Enough about me, Bruno. What is the company doing?
The company doing? Well, I know last week company did send out the auto recap. Have you got a chance to look at that?
I have. I saw. I don't want to ruin anything that you're going to say, so.
You get to see our newest interns joining the company. You
I
get to
did,
learn a
yes.
little about them.
I went through a lot of their profiles. Yeah.
There's a spotlight moment for one of our employees. I believe Kelly Quinn was the one giving the shout out.
Remember? Yeah.
The shout out marketing.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you saw
Aha, here it is.
Pet of the Month.
I did see the pet of the month.
You know whose dog it is?
I don't know that dog very well.
Me neither. Boy, I found him on the street,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's my dog.
Oh, what? No way. My grandson? People don't understand our complicated relationship. But
Yes, your grandson.
yes.
But yeah, he got Pet of the Month this month.
That's cool. That's exciting.
I know he was very proud. And then I told him he could stay up to watch the show right now. But you should go back to bed, Remus.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm not home.
Let's move on.
But fun fact, it's his birthday tomorrow. So
Is it really?
It is.
Shoot. Wow, it is August. No, it's not August. It's July. We picked him up in August.
It's
Right?
June. But
Oh, they're all J months, you know. Whatever. They
August
run together.
especially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Silent J. So yeah, happy birthday, Remus.
Pet of the month.
Pet of the Month. In other exciting news, RO related, the Building Design and Construction published an article mentioning something we're testing out in one of our projects.
Oh, what's that?
Well, let me start with this again.
Sorry.
Do you know how many lives are lost due to heat exhaustion?
That's a loaded question. I don't know. Texas, U.S., world?
No, I'm looking for a number.
I know.
How many
I need to
lives?
know the size. Well, 500.
No, just I got 20.
Okay. I'm assuming this is Texas then.
Actually, I do not know. But the cool thing is that RO is actually piloting a little wearable technology to reduce, hopefully, heat-related injuries.
Oh, tell me more.
Oh, I will. So there's an article out there. I think we can probably post it in the chat later, and or the episode notes. But RO is teaming up with the Safeguard platform, so they deal with like focusing on safety services to kind of optimize the real-time health and safety risk assessments.
Neat.
So the idea is that the technology is a little wearable that people get to wear, and if the wearable detects any change in temperature, the team, certain individuals will be notified of the body temperature changes to make sure that person is staying safe out there, especially in Texas, especially with this heat
Sure, yeah.
hitting those triple digits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty exciting. We have 3 projects testing those out.
Neat, okay.
So I'm sure we'll be hearing more about those and hopefully the benefits and perks of them actually working. But the exciting part is that we're the first GC to test this out. So
No way, really?
yeah,
That's cool.
that's what the article says.
That's very exciting. I mean, I think it makes sense if we're, Texas-based. Heat is more on our minds and maybe like a more national brand or something like that.
Exactly. So we're always hopeful that this technology will help
Oh, I think for sure.
kind
it
of
will.
promote one of our core values. You know,
Oh, yeah.
safety starts with me.
Starts with me.
With me and me,
With me.
all of us.
Oh, okay.
And then just making sure people make it home,
Yeah.
especially on a toasty day outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you check that out. Again, it's an article by Building Design and Construction. We'll make sure to share that with you guys. But
Needy.
pretty cool stuff out there,
Absolutely.
and that's happening today, right now,
Oh,
in our job sites.
Right, sure.
But you know what else has happened in history
This past week?
this past week?
I do. I wrote it down. Oh. So this week in history.
This is our segment.
Yeah. We are going to start again with oldest to newest. Shout out to Cesar Gonzalez for helping me
Shout out.
get a few extra little tidbits in here. Anywho, in 1788, the U.S. Constitution came into effect.
Wow.
So that's nice. The ninth, I think it had to have a certain number of states ratify it. New Hampshire was the 9th one to ratify it. In 1893, the first Ferris wheel was installed. Do you know in what city it was installed?
Ooh, Ferris wheel. Wanna say? Well, I do like that movie. One of my favorite movies. Chicago.
Ferris wheel's day off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago. In 1903, the Ford Motor Company was founded. Okay. In 1963, jumping ahead 60 years, we had the first woman in space. Do you know what country she was from?
What's her name? Can you
Her
say?
name gives it away, but I'll tell you anyway. Valentina Tereshkova.
Ooh, that sounds very Russian to me.
Yes, that is correct. Although I guess they were the Soviet Union at the time. Yes, that region.
Details.
And then in 1970, we had the first team to win 3 World Cups ever. This was in Mexico. But do you know what
really?
country it was?
Oh. My guess would be France
France
or Spain.
or Spain. Well, those are both
But-
not correct.
But maybe a third guess might be Brazil.
That would be a correct guess. Yes, Brazil. And Pepe. Pele? Pele. Pele. Pepe's on.
Wow.
Anyway, Pele. He was the first player to win 3 World Cups
Oh,
as well,
wow.
with Brazil, of course. In 1983, America had their first woman sent to space. Do you know her name?
I do not.
Sally Ride.
Sally
Sally Ride was the first American woman in space. 1975, that's out of order. 1975, Jaws came out. Fun movie. It actually kind of started the...
What do you think about Jaws, Bruno?
Me? I haven't seen Jaws, but I know there's the Megatron movie. No, what's the one? The Mega Shark?
Mega
Me-
Shark
No, Megatron.
versus Mega Dingo.
No, there's that big movie with the.
Jaws?
But they make. fun
Oh,
of
the Meg
Yeah.
with
Meg.
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I've never seen any of those movies though.
Really? I think I've only seen the first Jaws.
No, what
pretty
we're doing this
good.
weekend.
Okay. Anyway, summer blockbuster was the genre of movie that it kind of... I don't know if that's really a genre, but it kind of started this whole idea of making big blockbuster movies during the summer. And then lastly, 2007, Bob Barker stopped hosting what game show?
The Price is Right.
Yes, absolutely. Price is Right. So now, on to RO things.
Ooh.
Anniversaries. Want to shout out 30 years to our own leader here in Austin, Cisco Hobbs.
Ooh, shout out, Cisco.
30 years.
Clap, 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 clap.
There must be
clap,
something
clap.
this month because we had Alan last week who was 30 years as well. So
Oh,
something about this month. I don't know.
it's the best month of the year. What
It
can I
is
say?
for anniversaries too. Not to toot my own horn.
Oh,
8
really? Is your anniversary?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But 18 years, Michael Clark. You should check out his live stream. We did an interview with him recently.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to go down to just 3 years for Rebecca Yamas. We also had a live stream with her, an interview with her, so you should check that one out too. Just want to shout out some of the folks that we've had live streams with and their tenure here at RO. And that's where I'm going to cut it off with anniversaries. Yeah, there's one project, but we don't necessarily have the images coming up, so I don't want to spoil anything or not spoil anything by not having the images. You
I
know.
can bring it next week.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Again.
Bruno, what do you got?
Well, now we're going on to our next segment. One of our favorite segments.
What's that?
Second segment we created.
Okay.
Building around the
Around
world.
the world.
And this one's pretty exciting. But I also noticed you had one that you wanted to share. Do you just wanted to stick with one? Or?
Yeah, I think we should in the interest of time.
Perfect. So get this, Hagen.
Getting it.
There's a new skyrise in New York that's going to have a roller coaster in
Roller coaster? What?
it. Yeah.
That's super scary.
It's a vertical drop type of ride, you know, kind of
Oh,
like the
so,
Superman
okay.
up and down type of thing.
So not a roller coaster.
Technically, it is a roller coaster.
Because it's on a... Okay, we'll
We'll discuss
we'll
later.
dive into that later.
But this idea was proposed by a development called Xtail Development.
Love them.
Do you know them?
No.
I know that they do have hands in some of the hotels over there,
Oh.
including the W, which you
Okay.
might be familiar with,
I am, yes.
and the Hyatt.
Oh, okay.
But this proposed building is supposed to be in Midtown, New York, and the tower vertical drop roller coaster will have a drop of 260 feet,
Dang.
and the tower is also meant to have 3 observatory decks, and it's supposed to be a big attraction to the tourists out in New York.
I mean, sure, yeah.
So
They just love going up in buildings in that city, don't they?
yeah, they do.
Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, now this roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster. People will have fun in it. There'll be
That's
some
the only,
screens, and it's
This is a
for
roller coaster.
entertainment. But I think it has been 10 years in the making for this.
Really? Wow.
And I think it's underway as I understand it, but it should be completed in 2025.
Okay. Wow, pretty soon.
So yeah, pretty soon.
Yeah.
Pop question for you:
Sure.
which one is the current highest vertical drop roller coaster? In which state?
Texas.
No,
California then.
no.
Ooh, really?
It's actually a place that it seems a little random.
Oh, isn't it like Minnesota or something?
Close.
It's up there.
New
What?
Jersey.
Oh, not what I thought. Really, New Jersey?
And apparently, I think it drops 415 feet.
Is that a Six Flags park or no?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I figure it would be nice for you to know in this, and this is a segment for building around the world. Who knew we could be having roller coasters in buildings?
Who knew?
Not me. But enough about us.
Right.
I think people are waiting for our guest,
Yes.
and I think
Done a good job of giving them some suspense.
I think so. 50 minutes of it. And this person, I haven't had the honor of working with him yet.
Not have I.
I know he's been at RO about a little over 2 years, November, almost 3 years.
We'll be shouting him out on anniversary soon enough.
Yeah. He's a roadrunner, beep beep, ergo the illustration.
I didn't get it. Also the letters.
Oh my goodness. So he's a proud roadrunner at UTSA. He's actually a double major. So he's got the big brains. He could participate in Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Type of thing.
Oh, I see.
So I think I'm sure James will dive into his background, but pretty smart cookie here. And he might be at San Antonio as a home, but he's actually, in his heart, he's from Chihuahua, Mexico. So shout out,
wow.
fun fact.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I learned all of this for just talking to him
Wow,
5
he's such an open book.
earlier today. But I'm excited to learn more about him. He's a big fella. He's coming out over 6 feet and counting with room to grow. And 336 months of experience under his belt. That's 28 years. But get ready to witness larger than life force that will make you question if the ring is big enough to contain his full greatness.
Wow.
Standing in this corner, we have Raul Olivas.
Ooh, Raul. There's no commercial, so
but we'll just make
just
a good
avert your eyes
transition
real quick.
and we'll make the transition, and here you go. Enjoy, Raul.
Very elegantly. Is this how you thought this would go?
It was different. I mean, I don't know if it made me more nervous about it or not.
Hopefully less nervous. You saw, you were witnessing one of my most spectacular failures, second only to failing to provide the marketing team with an excellent video about the 3 student housing towers we had going up at once a couple years ago now.
You know, hopefully I didn't jinx it because I came in and I was like, this looks so professional. I didn't even have any idea that it was going to look like this, but things happen.
You know, it was weird. I don't know what happened with the soundboard. That was fine. I can say it was fine. We thought we had an audio cable issue last week.
Yeah.
We tested it today. Everything was great. No problems at all. And then we, 10 minutes before, 20 minutes before we started, go hook in, and there's all kinds of static. So I was like, okay, well, that's not working. Try to get the video going. That wasn't working.
Yeah.
So it was just Murphy's Law, right? Not that everything that can go wrong will go wrong, but anything that can happen will indeed happen.
I do want to say, though, that there was an audience of like 23 people before we came in. They were waiting for Raul, and then we dropped to 3, but hopefully we'll do something crazy to bring that up again, right?
Hey, I think I didn't see the numbers exactly, but I think we're up over like 20 some odd viewers or something like that.
All right,
right
so
before we jumped on. So
we brought it back up.
Raul, my deepest apologies, as well as everyone out there. That was not how that was supposed to go, but we're here now, and I'm loving it. It's 153.
I'm sure my mom's still waiting for the videos up.
Moms are the best, aren't
Yeah.
they? They'll hang in there no matter
She
what.
probably won't understand anything. She don't speak English at all, but she's watching, so we'll translate after all.
Mi español es muy problema.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that's what language that is. Even
Yeah.
problema, is that Spanish? Is that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Was it?
No. And my apologies to your mother then too for not having this simulcast in Spanish. But Raul, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your current role at RO?
I'm a quality manager. I've been here for almost 3 years, like they mentioned. I was came over as a project engineer, and then last year I jumped into the quality manager role. I've been in San Antonio this full past 10 years almost in August. I'm from Chihuahua, Mexico. I was born and raised there up until I was 18. I came over to UTSA. I appreciate the detail. And I graduated. Went to a different GC before joining RO for 2 years doing the project engineer role, and then we're here.
What did you? Were you a construction? Is it construction science and management over there at UTSA?
Correct. I did a double major. I started with architecture, and then talking here and there with some professors, realized. So in Mexico, my dad's an architect, right? He builds, as we do know a GC would do here, but the architect plays a role of in smaller projects like the design, actual pre-con estimating, and developing the building. So I came over here trying to do the same thing, and then architecture here is so design specific. Didn't know if I wanted to go all the way just behind a screen, not to I know there's a lot of VDC people here, so but in my mind it was like, you know what, I want to be out there actually feeling the process, even though I'm not going the superintendent route. It's a great mix what I'm able to do. So I'm sorry, I lost track there, but UTSA. Sorry, you can remind me what I was supposed to talk about. But yeah, UTSA. I did architecture. Just started looking around. I didn't want to do that anymore, but I didn't want to drop because ever since I was like a little kid, I was like, I'm gonna graduate from architecture school. So I didn't want to drop that and the what ifs and all that. So I just did the extra curriculum for construction science. Took me 5.5 years to do both, so here we are.
That's not bad at all. There are some people that go to school for 5.5 years and don't leave with anything. You left with a pair of degrees. Do you feel like that the architectural, and I'm not familiar with UTSA, is it architectural engineering or is it just straight architecture?
It's just straight architecture and bachelor of science.
Do you feel like having that additional learning beyond just the construction science program has helped you be a better builder?
Yes, especially in my younger, I mean, it's still a young career, but I mean like my actual out of college years, the plan reading has been way different than I think would have done without architecture. Like none of the approach to the actual plans and cuts and sections, like to be able to look for a certain detail, I never worked as an architect, but they kind of show you how to think as a detailer, if that makes sense. So I think it's helpful. In the end, experience has helped me even better than that, but the architectural background did help with that. I do want to say, though, also with actually dealing with the architects whenever you're like getting selections on finishes, trying to understand their point, but you know, we're trying to take care of schedule, budget, and all that. So just having an easier approach on them interior designers and architects that you work with, it's got to help with that, I guess.
It's kind of interesting as I sit here and think about it, because if you were to go ask a project manager or a superintendent, like how does one get to the point where they can truly understand an RFI or a submittal or something like that and say, oh, go write a bunch of them, go write 100 RFIs, and then you'll be able to read any RFI and understand what the person meant whenever they're putting that together. And I feel like it's similar with drawings, right? But we never get that opportunity as general contractors to do that drawing. Yeah. So if you do have someone such as yourself with that architectural background, like you've gone through, you've created drawings. So as you're saying, whenever you're trying to figure out where is this cut or what's going on here, why does this look so strange, you can kind of reverse engineer what the architect may have been thinking to get you to that point where you're like, oh, I know where to look for this. I understand why it's there. And this is all kind of jiving now.
100%. And then, of course, I don't know other universities, but UTSA tried to blend in the first year the construction science program with the architecture. And they do have some shared classes, like they call it technical communication, which is actually trying to read some plans, but it's not the same as going 4 years with an architecture professor trying to get into his way to see things. And just like, I don't know, I don't think I would be able to recognize an elevation or a section cut and all that things if I didn't go through that process as easy as I did in my first year.
And you also, I mean, it seems like you got a bit of pride pushing you through that as well. You were dedicated to like, I want to finish a degree in architecture. Like that is something that you, Mr. Raul Olivas, said, like, that's something I want to do. And there's a lot, I think most folks would have gone through and been like, okay, well, I'm going to go this other route. I'm not going to do the other one as well. I'm just going to focus on this one. So props to you. That takes a lot of dedication and effort to follow that through.
Thank you. I think it's just I moved to San Antonio because of that. I would have gone to UTEP in El Paso but they just didn't have an architecture program there. And my brother was living in San Antonio, so we were like, okay, UTSA has an architecture program. But I don't think I will ever, well, never say never, right? But I don't think I would go back to architecture per se, but I just wanted to have that feeling that I accomplished that, I guess.
You never know what I was going to say. You know, we're really going to embrace the design build approach, and we're going to take all of the folks that have an architecture background or an architectural degree and put them into their own design build group. And
now, you know what? Now that you mentioned that, in my previous project, the North Rim, we were having a lot of design build going on in the skin. And one of my coworkers told me he liked a lot how I blue beam some details. I'm not a detailer, but it's different. I did that for 4 years in college with Rhino and different softwares, but it does help to have a better sense of scaling and drawing and what you want to, show to an RFI. I'm not a detailer. That's Miranda's, and y'all do that type of work, but as trying to explain something real quick to the owner and or architect is I never thought about that, but that probably came out of the architecture classes.
So like you said, never say never. Anything could happen. See, I know you mentioned you were with another GC before coming on board with RO. How did you end up at RO? Did you have a friend, family member? Did you just see a job posting and think, hey, I'll give it a shot?
For some reasons, I felt like that wasn't my fit in that company. They're a great company and everything, but I just thought my way of working could find a better place. And as I started looking around, I remember we all probably have had that moment where you're looking for the ideal job. And I did a research on so many emails and who's the person here and there. And I didn't know how important Alan Codina was for like my potential job here, but I remember I sent out to him, it was either an email straight to like, hey, like a cold call email, or a LinkedIn message that I was like something, and don't quote me, but it was like, I'm looking for opportunities. I think you might be the person. If not, please refer me to someone. And little did I know, he actually asked me for my resume right there, and he scheduled an interview, and here we are.
That's wild. There's so many folks out there nowadays where you hear like, I sent out 50 job applications or sent my resume to 20 people or whatever. Like, I didn't hear anything back. Did you actually try to contact a person, or did you just send resumes or applications out there?
I hope my girlfriend is listening right now, because she's graduating from a master's degree, and I tell her, like, don't get discouraged about applying, because I send out like 1,000 emails to like the HR emails to like the general. I'm pretty sure those emails were for like bidding and like different things, but I was certain that someone could get, because I do it nowadays. Like, I go to Career First with UTSA, you get an email and sometimes you're like, this guy, like he's looking for an opportunity. So probably someone will share or redirect that email to the right person. And I'm like, just start looking anywhere and everywhere and send. But yeah, I was sending out resumes to everyone. Not saying RO wasn't my priority. It's just like at that point you're like, just give me an opportunity and I'll think about it, I guess.
Man, yeah. that human connection, especially with someone like Alan, who, you know what I mean, he's super attentive and into finding the right person. You know what I mean? It's not just like fill a seat. He wants the right person for RO. So if, yeah,
Alan waited for me around 8 months. So here's the craziest part. I gave my 2 weeks notice, and this is great content. I know. I gave my 2 weeks notice with my previous company on March 14th, 2020, which is COVID. Like the Friday, it was my I got the chills. My last Friday was the day they all sent like, we're closing everything and we're like, what's going on? We're running out of water in like grocery shops and all that. And I'm like, okay, what's I'm an international worker. I have my visa, right? And you have to update your company anywhere you're working at. And I was like, okay, let's go update that at the consulate. And they closed that. And it was, let's do 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we'll open, because no one knew what COVID was going to be, right?
all right.
And I started like, okay, 2 weeks out of non-paid, but, you know, you always want that extra vacation. It went from maybe 2 weeks, 8 months. 8 months, and not a single moment anyone from RO, especially Alan, because he was my main point of contact, told me like, you know what, we hired someone else, you know what, we don't need. He always was like, yeah, sure, whenever. And I came over, and it's been the best professional move on my end.
That's incredible in so many ways. Now that you've been here for a while, what do you love about RO?
So many things. First off, in a professional development way, I think they really push you to do things. So here, it's a love-hate relationship with this thought, but you gotta do your role and the next roles in a certain way, right? Like if you are looking to get promoted, you gotta show, and that's with all of my mentors that I've had. They're like, okay, you're good, but that doesn't mean you're gonna be good at the next level, right? And so they start pushing you to start doing this, start doing that. I wasn't here as an intern, but I see that with my colleagues that are interning in the 300 main, or were interning. They're now project engineers, but they really want you to learn. Either you're gonna stay here with RO or not, and you get a PE position and you do all your stuff, but also start leading some meetings and RFI submittal meeting and trying to get to that next level. And as a QM, I've been told to, you know, start getting some contractual, like not so big but not so small, that you can just start working with that. And so in a professional way, I think RO, it's a great way to love what you do but also keep growing. I don't think anyone in RO has had the approach of like, I'm not gonna train you because you're gonna take my spot. Like, I feel like there's room for everyone to grow regardless. That's what I feel. Then also, I'm a very outgoing person in a way that I like to be involved in all of this AVC, AGC organizations. I was in the student chapters back at UTSA. I was president of another social student organization. And ever since, I don't think I was encouraged to do that in my previous environments. Not in a bad way, just like here
Kind of
it's
indifference.
yeah, here it's actually encouraged. Like two of my senior PMs have told me like, hey, whatever you want to do, just go there, keep RO's brand like pridefully, and that's gonna help you, that's gonna help us, that's gonna help everyone. So the fact that they know that you're representing RO and you're putting out your face out there, it's gonna help everyone, yourself, and you get to, it's a stress reliever as well. That's just amazing. And again, I've met some people that are not as outgoing in that sense, and they also encourage that. Like, it's a cliche, but you can be whoever you want to be here, and it's not gonna delay your growth or push it. Like, it's just, it depends on who you are and what you provide, and let's keep growing.
I think that's the beauty of hiring the right people versus filling job roles.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you take the time to interview with people and talk with them and understand more of who they are and what motivates them, why they want to be here and all that, you don't then need to actively throttle them throughout their career.
Right.
They can look at you and say, oh, well, I can tell you right now, if Alan hired you and says you're, a good worker, a good person, hard worker, all that type of stuff, there's no doubt in my mind that that's accurate. So if you say, hey, I'm interested in doing R&D stuff, I'm like, great, we'll take you tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure that could happen. Like, I've been told that since the beginning, and you're like, yeah, right. But as I go and I've met more people in RO, you can literally be like, hey, I do want to learn this, or I don't like this anymore. Let's try it.
Getting that variety of information, whether it be from VDC or marketing or pre-construction or whatever, all of that's going to end up making you a more well-rounded and therefore better employee. You're going to have a more comprehensive view of how things come together. So yeah, it's not really to anyone's benefit to say, hey, stay out in the field, write some contracts and go do punch lists. Don't worry about getting involved with a pursuit effort or working on a schedule or anything like that. It's definitely.
And I'm pretty sure everyone's goes in their career looking to like different things. Like, I didn't know I liked this 1, 2, and 5 years ago, and we've got some career paths like I don't know, Ash. He's started like think QM and then superintendent and then quality. So you can start getting to learn your strengths, I guess, if that makes sense.
For sure, yeah. I think Ash started as an intern, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
And worked all the way up through. And it took him 15 years or however long he's been here. But yeah, he's one of those individuals who was willing to roll the dice on being bold. Said, hey, I think there's opportunity for this quality thing. Let's take that quality manager title and let's just blow that up. Let's make that into a whole effort. And I know for several years, I haven't checked in a while, but for several years in ENR and stuff like that, that was the number one concern of clients. It wasn't schedule, it wasn't cost, it was quality. I want a quality project built.
Right.
So him having that foresight to see the industry and the trends and what people are wanting, and then also seeing that was where he was exceptionally strong, in the superintendent role, and validating that things were being performed up to standard and all that, saying, hey, I think I could be a greater good helping everyone get to a higher level of quality versus me being on one project. I should stop.
I do want to say one more thing I like or I love about RO, that I don't think it's a cliche by any means, because I lived the other side of the coin and in a different company, but here, like, management and upper management remembers you. Like, that's a big deal when you're starting in your career. The fact that I can walk out of this office and say hi to Alan, Cisco, Dempsey, the people that I am, like, 5 steps below in the career growth, they do remember you, and they don't just say hi. They do actually remember the conversations you have with. So I've been with Miranda for some interviews, trying to bring other people, and I always feel like I'm selling out RO as a brand with all these cliches, but it actually happens here. Like it is the people, it is the quality of work that we do, it is the type of projects that we do, and also like our slogan, like Texas Premier Builder. Like we literally try to be Texas Premier Builder with like the types of projects and the quality approach that we get into this project. So that's just great.
Raul, I don't know what your career plans are, but after this, you might have an opportunity to go into the marketing department and just go pitch RO to everyone. Go to career fairs, go to interviews.
I do love going to the career fairs. That has happened even with my previous company, and that goes along with because Bruno was asking me what are you, what's more about you, and I'm like, well, I think UTSA enthusiast. I love the football team that's growing. I love the actual. I'm very proud of what I am and where I come as. Either it's my Mexican origin, and in this case, my alma mater, and it's the going back there and seeing. Okay, so when I went to the career first as a student, I was very shy in a way that you don't know how this grown-ups, already workers, are going to think about you. And I always thought, like, if I'm ever on the other side of the table, I want to feel or help that student feel confident about, like, hey, we're strangers, but we're not bad people, right? Like, we understand where you're standing right now. The dumbest question will never be dumb, because even if you're like 10 years in your career, like, ask everything, right? But even more so in your early stages, like, no one's gonna judge you, and if they do judge you, it's probably a red flag for you from them, right? Because you don't want to be working around them or learning from that people, because they should understand and they should share experience.
For sure. Yeah. If there's anyone out there that's, at another firm or what have you, and they're being told, it's a stupid question, why'd you ask that? Or don't bother him or her with that question. That's a place you need to get out of. You need to reconsider what your options are, because it's not a work environment that's conducive to you growing, improving, and becoming a better human as a whole.
I'm pretty sure everyone in RO appreciates you asking first, even if it's something that seems logical. Because you know how superintendents got, especially the old wave, got this fame of like grumpy, but blah, 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 let's do this thing. No, even with some of the superintendents that I've worked with, I'm 100% sure they will never judge you in that way. They will teach you. And now if you go out there and try to be the I know everything guy and fail, there's gonna probably be a bad consequence about it.
You're gonna catch a bit of ridicule if you make a fool out of yourself. Yeah.
Especially playing that role of I know everything, because no one, not even the most experienced person here, knows everything. So try to stay humble, if that makes sense.
Believe me, I'm not going to have any issues with that for a while now after this experience today. I was just thinking that, hey, we're 20 some odd episodes. I think it's 23rd, 24th episode in.
Yeah.
We're on cruise control, baby. We got this figured out. This was a good moment for me to collect my thoughts and remembered that I can be humbled by a single mistyping of an IP address. One cable can break and bring this whole thing down. So
it's a construction industry, so that's just to keep it like the same way you think you're doing a building and go to the next one and everything's so different, and starting by the actual architect and how the details can differ.
So, on that note, what would you like your career, and somewhere between what would you like your career to look like 30 years from now, and what do you think construction looks like 30 years from now? This is the point where the questions I sent you they're irrelevant. I'm too interested in you as a person.
Yeah. 30 years from now?
30. Yeah, let's go 30.
Okay. I do see myself helping, like the same thing I described to you when I was a student and I wanted to be in that other side of the job career fair, helping students. I'm now almost 6 years out of college, still considered young in the industry. I do want to be helping people like the person I am right now grow and feel confident about how we can do things better as an industry. And I've lived this within RO, how we are trying to compile a lot of systems into one. Either it's with Procore or any other software, and not just the software part technology, but just like trying to be more efficient and know what's working, but also like don't stop looking around on what can change, but also don't reinvent the wheel. Like just I think RO's got the good balance on that, like on knowing what's working and what things we can improve. And sometimes we give it a try for like some months, some years, and then be like, okay, that was not the best approach, but let's just keep going. I think
we learned something, right? That's the important part.
Right.
Something may not work, but like you said, we'll try a pilot or a beta or whatever, give it a quarter, a month, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then look back and say, hey, that was fantastic. That saved us a ton of time, a ton of money. It provided huge value or whatever. Let's make this the norm. Is compared to, hey, that was an interesting thought that didn't really pan out at all how we thought it would. So let's fail fast.
It's
right?
almost scary though with the AI and all that, how it's gonna be like in 30 years. But I feel like the construction industry's got a lot still to offer in many ways. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
What's been the most challenging project you've been involved with while you've been here at RO?
So North Rim for me was challenging. I've never worked on exterior skin before, and like I told you, we were doing some details here and there, design build. So there was a lot of work behind the details that we didn't know how it was gonna look like, and we just before. So with a regular scope, let's say, you get the details from the architect, you get the submittals from trades, and then you have something to compare with. Here we were working alongside with architect and trade to try to understand how something was gonna work even before we started the quality control process. So I got in meetings with Ash, Miranda, some of the third-party consultants, and it really took a lot of thought before actually starting to work. Like, you needed to understand what was going to be each of the layers going in that window, and then before we even think about the window system and then the stone veneer and everything. So that was challenging. Right now, I think our 300 main tower, 32 stories downtown San Antonio, is gonna get very, very challenging. But I'm just not there at that point, so it might be my biggest challenge yet.
We'll check back in here to see if there's an update there. If you had to pick there, Raul, between building those super challenging, very complex projects, and I don't want to say struggling, but constantly being challenged throughout that process, or building something that you can execute to a T. You just it's an easy project that you're able to knock out of the park every time. Which would you rather work on?
The challenging.
Why is that?
I think that's where you learn the most. I think that's where you the bigger the challenge, the more stress you can get, but also the more relief or recognition or like self pride you can get about completing that. So I think if we were to have just easy tasks, we would find harder to grow in a professional way. So maybe, yeah, that's the reason why, I guess.
I'm with you all the way. It's not. I wish more people would. You've brought up a couple times now, taking pride in who you are and what you do. That's one of those things that I don't know what's happened within society or culture or what, but it seems like there's so few people out there that do take pride in themselves and in what they do. I don't know if it's something that's been demonized or if it's just kind of fallen out of fashion to take pride in what you are and who you are and what you do. But I think if more people would do that, they would find that those challenging projects are rewarding. You're not getting drugged through a ditch for a year. You're getting the opportunity to grow yourself personally and professionally for a year.
I was talking to my dad like 2 months ago about something like that. Within RO, I've had the chance to talk to some potential owners or developers, and I talked to our upper management, and they kind of like alongside help us try to go and get a bid to those projects. And I was telling my dad, like, hey, I know I'm probably not going to be the PM for this project at all, because it's like a 10-year, or I don't know, until I am a PM, right? Hopefully less. But he stopped me there and he told me, like, hey, as a director or owner of a company, they will see the effort you're doing regardless of like your paycheck's gonna be the same, but that's where they see the people that's gonna be potentially taking the leadership roles in 1, 10, or 1,000 years, right? So that's where it reinforced my thinking of like, just do things. Like right now, RO is my team. If we were a sports team, right now it's my team. You just gotta do your part, and if you can do more, but no need to expect more. I'm not saying whoever's watching, like, don't ask for more, like promotions, money, whatever. We all want to grow that way, but don't do it just because of like or let me rephrase that. If don't stop doing things just because you're not gonna get reward, if that makes sense.
I can guarantee you, if you have two people and you have one person that's out there asking for a raise every 6 months or asking for a promotion or doing whatever because they're seeking more money or a greater title or whatever the case is that's motivating them, you compare that to a person who doesn't worry about those things and stays focused on their current job and what those roles and responsibilities are, and they execute with excellence in all those fields. That person that's focused on doing their job well is going to end up further along that person who feels like they're doing themselves a favor by going out and, you know, asking their boss for a raise or more PTO or a truck allowance or whatever, right, every opportunity they get. You only get so much bandwidth in a day. We can only make so many decisions. We can only process so many things. And if you spend time worrying about those other things, you're not focusing on the areas where you can have more impactful change and immediately as well.
Right.
So I just want to like jump across this room and give you a hug as you're saying that, because it's one of those things that I understand that in some people, I don't fault anyone who's motivated by money or position or anything. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I remember I've been a hedonistic person probably most of my life. So I'm like, I really don't care. And talking with a mentor friend type, he goes, it's kind of selfish of you. He goes, what about your family? You know, and I don't have a wife, kids, or anything right now, but he's like, don't you want your kids to be able to go to a good school? Don't you want to be able to take, you know, your family on a vacation and go have fun? Go enjoy your girlfriend's birthday or whatever and take a trip and not worry about it. And I was like, man, I hadn't really ever thought about it like that. But so whenever people say like, oh, I want to get a bigger paycheck, I don't fault them at all for that. Yeah. But I do think there's a balance there.
Balance is the word, because I've been in the other side of the conversation. When I was my sophomore year in college, I worked at the university freshman, something with freshmen. Like I was like a mentor and try to guide them through college, blah blah blah. And then one of my paychecks came like half of it one time, and I think it's a cultural thing where sometimes don't want to generalize, but I don't know if my family, my country, my like the Hispanics overall, but sometimes we're like almost too humble compared to like American culture to like I worked at, give me that money. And I was with my manager at the moment, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry to bring over this, but I got paid half of what I worked. Like this is like my timesheet and everything. And he's like, stop right there. Don't ever apologize for like getting your
I'm sorry.
don't ever apologize to like for requesting what is yours, right? Like don't I know you're humble, blah blah blah, but don't be that humble. So that's why the part of balancing it's always good. Like
Definitely.
don't be afraid to ask for what's yours.
Yeah, different upbringings, different cultures.
Yeah.
It does seem that
But
people that look like me seem to have a bit more of an entitlement they carry around than
I've come to learn that it's a good balance. That's what I love about my 18 years living in Mexico and 10 years almost living in the U.S. It's getting hopefully the best of, it's a cliche, the best of both worlds, and but like hopefully if I ever get married and have kids, my kids will learn the world in that way, that both cultures and both countries and everything has good things to learn about.
Yeah, do my best to not turn this into a 4-hour podcast, because I feel like you and we've never met. Like this is, I think,
Right.
the first time. Maybe we like walked by, said hello to each other at like a Connect event or whatever. But
Yeah.
this is the first time we've had a conversation. And I'm thinking I need
talk
to come.
a lot. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir, brother. I'm thinking I need to make my way down to San Antonio for a beer with you at some point in time, or for a responsible outing is what I meant.
And adult beverages.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
There
what
we
they
go.
call it.
What do you like to do for fun, Raul?
I try to fire up the grill as much as I can. I do cook a lot, but mainly I enjoy it more in the outdoors. And I do follow UTSA football a lot. I can't wait for that football season to start again. But I think I can cook pretty good stuff, and I'll invite you guys over sometime. But
Natural gas, propane, charcoal.
charcoal.
Oh, you're charcoal man.
Yeah, I do cook a lot of like salsas as well for the 300 main top out party with Joseph and all the RO Prime team. I did 4 gallons of red salsa.
4 gallons?
Yeah.
That is, I don't know what. Whenever I'm thinking of 4 gallons of salsa, I'm thinking of a 5-gallon bucket of like hydraulic oil. I'm like, that's a lot
It
of.
was 16 quarts of salsa for like 300 plus employees we have at that location, and it was great. I love it. I do have some pictures. I'll send it over.
I'd love to see that. That's awesome. Yeah. So, grill master, and sounds like you've got a girlfriend that's finishing up
Yes.
school.
She's actually here in Austin, finishing up masters, and then hopefully she'll like to move to San Antonio. We'll let her decide.
Well, it sounds like you're a smart couple. I have to keep that in mind next time we have an RO trivia night or something. Hey, Raul, you want to come up to Austin? Or I'll come down to San Antonio.
Yeah.
If you had to pick between giving up, especially knowing now that you're a grilling man, if you had to give up your favorite music or your favorite food, which would you give up?
I love food, man. I would rather not listen to any type of music before like stop eating my favorite food. Like,
Really?
I do love food. I do love cooking and eating. Mostly eating, but you gotta cook to eat, so it's all right.
Man, you think you could do giving up your favorite music?
For sure, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. What about like working out or road tripping or anything like that? You wouldn't be like, oh,
You can always sing, right? Or is that not?
that's true. No, that's
I
right.
mean,
I just said give up the music, not sing. So
Yeah.
fair enough. Are you a vocal artist as well?
I scream sometimes with I like screaming with rhythm, if that makes sense. But not, like singing, that's a strong word.
Yeah, I've seen the Insane Clown
I
Posse.
wouldn't make it to the American Idol or any of those. But just give me a couple of adult beverages and we'll scream with a lot of the rhythm.
Go do some Celine Dion there, the Titanic song, whatever that.
That's a tough topic this week, right?
Oh, I'm showing my insensitivity. I totally forgot about
It's probably back there in your like Twitter thing that you just gotta say
yeah,
Titanic.
Oops. I hope those folks make it out. That is a bummer.
It's
But also that's one of those deals. I think anything you do, you're always taking a risk, right? You drive to work, you're taking a risk.
Mm-hmm.
You walk across the street to grab lunch, you're taking a risk. It's just a risk reward type thing.
yeah.
So I'd like to think that those folks, if they don't make it back, that at least they were living the greatest adventure of their lives and doing something they were really passionate about.
I think it's something that you almost like don't want to think about it, but it's a risk. Like you say, like, and even what do you call it? Skydiving and everything is got its risk. So hopefully they make it out good.
I think we've got time for one more question. Kind of shooting for 2:37 here. I want to do two more. We'll do two more. Whatever.
All right.
We'll clean
Let's
it up.
do it.
There are a couple of fun ones. If you could be any superhero, who would you be and why?
I don't know if it counts as a superhero. Maybe it does, but I don't know if you've ever watched like Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, like Goku. I always wanted to be Goku.
The executive producers are telling me that is a superhero. I'm not familiar myself.
Okay, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, like I always said, like I was Goku, and so yeah, you can fly. You're super strong. You can change your hair color if you want. Like,
I feel like I might be missing something there.
You probably.
Okay, I've seen. Yeah, I'm familiar with.
It's like anime
appearance.
or yeah, it's for.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm an anime guy, but like I just watched that because it was the open air TV show after school. So
You know who is an anime guy? If you're looking for some input,
yeah,
Anthony Carchi.
really?
Yeah, hit him up. He's got a list of stuff he's trying to watch and all that. Yeah, I don't know. I've got nothing for you. I could tell you what was on network TV about 20 years ago. One last question for you here, Raul, and we'll let you get out of this.
Let's do it.
This event that we're calling a podcast today. If you had to give young Raul some advice, what would you tell him?
I would tell Raul that everything's gonna be all right. I would tell Raul to ask more than he did. I would tell Raul to don't be shy. I've lived 10 years in the USA, and I don't think I would even 5 years ago be able to have this conversation on my English social skills, if that makes sense. Like going to college, I would understand all the classes, listening, I would type my essays, whatever, but I would never have the social, because even at UTSA, I had a lot of Mexican friends that speak Spanish. So all my social skills were non-existent. So it wasn't until I started actually working with like everyday conversations in English that I started realizing, okay, I can be, because I was like, if you knew how fun I am in Spanish, you would laugh at everything I say, but I'm just awkward right now. Like that was something very frustrating. But I think now disinvolve myself better in English. So just don't be shy and start talking to people and ask more questions. The better.
Well, thank you, Raul. Yeah, that's some great points there. And whether it be young Raul or however old I am, James, I think they're still both very valid.
45.
I don't know what whoever that was off in the background. I don't know what they said. All I heard is I want to do push-ups. I guess that doesn't work here, does it? Are we over here, Cesar? All right, we'll get a tally over there soon, and we'll know what's going on. Thank you to everyone who stuck in there. I am so sorry for all the hiccups there early on. We were having audio issues, and we were having camera issues, but we fought our way through, and there will be some process refinement over the next couple of days, so this doesn't happen again. You've got the AI challenge out there again until June 30th. So if you have ideas, get them in, even if they're super simple. It could be something as simple as, hey, this particular prompt works great for me. I love using it for checking against city codes or building codes or whatever. That's an idea. Get it in there. We have the Connect events coming up. I think they sent out the invites for those. So that week of I think it's the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, starting in Houston, then up to San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas. Make sure you get that on the calendar. Get to the event if you can. Mr. Cisco Hobbs, 30 years at RO. That's incredible. Congratulations, Cisco. And a happy 1 year to Dr. Fritz. Hopefully we'll be sitting here with some hover cameras, 29 years from now, talking about your 30th anniversary. And stay hydrated. Everyone out there on the job sites, make sure everyone's staying hydrated. It's hot as the dickens out there. Mm-hmm. Drink lots of water, stay cool, get rest. And we will be back next week in a much smoother fashion, hopefully with another special guest. So thank you all again. Have a great week.